The latest update is pretty big in World of Tanks, and of course you can get on your console right now and try it out for yourselves. Of course, today's video and update news is going to showcase everything that you need to know about this update, the new tech tree tanks, as well as some of the other sales. We've got loads of other content that are coming out as well. We've got the new contract for the Stubs. We'll cover everything. Let's get into it now. Now, there is a brand new tech tree, and that comes in the form of the new Romanian tech tree. And what this tank line actually offers you is effectively a Soviet medium tank style gameplay within the Cold War era too, and these lead on from the Czechoslovakian tanks that you can actually pick up, including the TVP T5051, which was recently released into World of Tanks console. So what are these vehicles? Well, you've got the TR-85, which is the medium. This is the first one that you'll pick up. Then it leads on to the TR-125, and that's the heavy tank. And then it starts off really with the TR-580, which is basically a variation of the T-55, like a slightly upgraded version, I guess. And all of these vehicles, they're going to play okay. I think the best one may be the top tier one in terms of competitiveness. The others are probably playing much like a Leo, with the second one in the TR-85, and then much like a T-55 or any of the Soviet medium tanks that you may have already played right here. So it looks kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to actually jumping in myself and playing these vehicles. But of course, if you've already picked them up or you're working towards them right now, let me know what you actually think in the comments and whether you actually think that these are going to be good, whether they were a good introduction, or would you rather have seen a World War II tech tree. The next thing this week that we have is, of course, the Chinese Tier 10 heavy tanks and all of the line leading up to it getting reforged. So there will be some balance changes to these vehicles that you will be able to see. And of course, that includes the 113 and the WZ-111-5A, which are both Tier 10 heavies. And these vehicles are getting some significant buffs, and they're actually going to be turned into some more interesting vehicles because of the fact that they're getting these buffs that also allow the tank to perform way better, and by that I mean the 113. So what's happening to each of the vehicles? Well, you can see here, if you're deciding upon going towards the Chinese heavies, it might actually be worth it now, because the Chinese Tier 10 heavy, the 113, gets a 10% buff to its reload, which is really nice, well, just under. It's also getting an aim time buff of about 10% or 8% or something like that. And of course, it's getting an extra 150 hit points. It's getting nearly a third more rounds, which is always nice for a heavy tank not to run out of rounds during the game. And of course, you've then got all of the additional features of this vehicle and the tech trees leading up to it getting buffed. So what are the other tanks? Well, you have the WZ-111 Model 5A, which has a reload buff from 11.2 down to 10.8, so you're getting about 5% buff. You've also got an accuracy buff, only a minor one, to be honest. It's going from 0.39 to 0.38. So it looks like this tank is going to be significantly better than it previously was, primarily down to the reload, to be honest with you. So it's looking really decent. And then for the vehicle leading up to those vehicles, you have the WZ-111-14, which is the Tier 9 heavy tank. And this is getting some actual pretty decent buffs in general, and that's because not only are you getting the buffs that you have been seeing with the 113, but you're getting a lot of dispersion changes, which means it's going to be more accurate on the move. So you'll probably be more in line with something like the T10, of which this is probably quite comparable to. And you've also got some penetration buffs. Looks like they're buffing the stock performance of the vehicle, and of course the middle options as well. So it's looking like the grind is going to be less grindy in this game. Then going down to tier 8, we've got the 110, which is getting its hull armor buff, so the corner panels, and by that it means the kind of sloped areas of the front of the tank, they're going to go up to 120mm, meaning that you may actually be able to bounce some rounds in this thing for once. You've also got shock dispersion going down, which means it's getting better. You've got that for both the first and second chassis. You've got the turret getting buffed, its view range is going up, the 122mm first gun is getting removed, and they've basically allowed that the top gun will be one of the better guns that you unlock will be now the stock gun in the game. So it's really, really good. The penetration of this is also getting buffed, and the aim time is also getting buffed as well. So it's looking far, far better for everything involved with this vehicle, and I genuinely think I may go towards these two tanks as part of the on-track event that is also going to be conjoined with this as well, but we'll get into the details on that in just a second. Then of course down to the tier 7, it's the IS-2. This was a tank that was pretty decent anyway, and they've effectively just improved the actual statistics of the 122. They removed basically a duplicate of the same gun, and so now you just have one or two guns in this vehicle, which makes it a little bit easier, and of course slightly better accuracy on this top gun as well. Then moving on to the final bit of the buffs, you're also seeing buffs to 3 premium tanks. 2 of them are the same, basically, but just a skinned version, and those are the WZ-111 and the Alpine Tiger WZ-111. They're the same tank, one just has a skin that you don't have to pay camo for, and these are basically getting some very similar buffs to accuracy and also the aim time, only minor changes, but hopefully that will improve something. Then you get the 112, which is also a heavy tank and has the aim time buff of about 25%, and also the accuracy buff of minor, very, very minor. So it's looking pretty decent for all of these vehicles, including the premiums. Now, as we talked about, there is an on-track event to all of these vehicles where you can pick up an extra 25% XP when grinding through any of these vehicles. So every single vehicle that we've just mentioned, there will be a 25% XP bonus leading up to them. And of course, all of the tiers below that as well that haven't been buffed will also be getting the 25% XP bonus, which is really, really nice. And of course, during that period of time, between tiers 3 and tiers 6, you'll also get a 50% silver bonus, and you will have to get a 30% silver discount on tier 7 all the way up to tier 10 as well. So it's really, really good time to buy these. So the new contract is also available for the Stubs, which has come out today, and you can actually pick up this vehicle. It's a mercenary tank down at tier 5, and it's actually a fairly decent one. We can look at the statistics here. You have very low penetration, but you have very nice alpha damage for a tier 5, which means that if you can get up close and personal and you can continually go forward and actually progress with this vehicle, then it can be super, super devastating for the enemy team. Of course, it's a light tank that has pretty decent view range for a tier 5 and also pretty fast as well. Now, if you want to actually pick up this vehicle, how can you do it? You have to complete a series of stages, go from stage 1 all the way up to stage 8. Now, stage 8 is pretty annoying to actually complete for a tier 5 vehicle, since you have to actually pick up nearly 200,000 XP to be able to complete this entire operation. Along the way, you have to complete some other minor challenges. They usually like detect vehicles and stuff like that, so there's nothing too major for you to actually do, but ultimately it's more the XP requirements that come with every single stage, so you can complete those as and when you feel like you can. Don't rush into it. You don't need this tank, but if you can do it in the meantime, then I highly recommend it because it's an interesting tier 5 mercenary tank. So I will also be doing this along the way as this stage goes on. So, what else? We've got quite a lot of other news as well. We've got the challenges and events, and we have String Theory available right now in World of Tanks. So, all you have to do, well, I say all you have to do, but you have to win multiple games in a row, and it will multiply how much XP you're getting from every single victory. So, for example, if you want to get 5 times XP, you'll have to win 5 battles in a row. If you want 3 times XP, you'll have to win 3 battles in a row. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't get 20 wins in a row and get 20 times XP. It does cap out at 5 times XP. So if you get more than 5 wins in a row, you cannot just continually pump this to be able to get like, I don't know, 90 wins in a row and get 90 times XP. It does cap out at 5, which means that if you were to play 7 games and win all 7 of them, you would have ended up getting times 5 XP for the last 3 battles that you played. So it's really, really good. Obviously, if you can platoon up with some people that you know are of a similar or better level than you are at the game, then you're going to be able to consistently win more games, and typically if you can platoon up, you'll be able to perform better anyway, because you can coordinate yourselves as a team or a unit to be able to win more games. So I highly recommend you do that if you do have any people to play with, or alternatively just start playing some pretty decent competitive tanks that you also are trying to grind at the same time, or just play really, really broken tanks, save up the win streak, and then jump into the tank that you're kind of struggling with and hope that you win in that game. Either way, you know, it's a great event to be able to actually get some XP, and I've been able in the past to go from a tier 6 all the way to a tier 10 in like 100 battles, which is beyond good in World of Tanks, and probably even less. I've probably been able to do it in like 70 battles, but that's conservative. So yeah, it's an amazing event. Of course, you do have to win the games. If you're a brand new player, this probably isn't going to be the best event for you in terms of XP. But if you are a somewhat experienced player, then you are going to be able to seriously take advantage of this. Now then, not only that, we've also got the reinforcements from Romania. So these are the new tech tree tanks, and there's also challenges on these as well. So in the new Romanian tanks, you can see that there is a challenge, and you can basically play any of them, and you can get some extra silver bonuses. So, for example, if you play in the vehicle, a Romanian tank, and you destroy any one of the enemy kind of versions of the same tank. So if you destroy a TR 580 or a TR 85 or a TR 125, you'll get 25% extra silver in that battle. That doesn't mean that you can't use other tanks and destroy those same tanks and get 25% silver, but if you do decide to play in these, and you also destroy 2 or more vehicles, and one of them is the same tank, then you can get up to 50% bonuses, because they do stack together. So you could effectively get 50% more silver. And then, of course, on top of that, you can get the season bonus for completing the season. You get extra silver from that. You can get silver boosters. You can put all of these on, and you can easily earn like 600,000 silver in a battle in one of these vehicles as a tech tree tank if you have a very good battle. Of course, the majority of times with the ×2 silver and these both together, probably get somewhere in the region of about 400,000 or 300,000 silver, depending on how good your battle was. And alongside that, you can also pick up this event where you can destroy 75 or more vehicles playing in these vehicles. So you can pick up 500,000 silver, a day of premium, or 10 times 4 XP boosters. So always pretty nice. Now, moving into the more interesting perspective, at least from my view, is the sale of some of the premium tanks that Wargaming are trying to flog. Now, there is, of course, the September tank of the month, which is the Minuteman, which is a fantastic tier 7 tank, genuinely really, really good. But it is $10, so if you don't have the money, don't go spending what you don't have. But if you do have the money and you want to spend money on the game, then this is a good bundle, and spending $10 is probably not that bad. That's like 2 pints anyway. So I always do it in pints, how much things are going to cost. But weekly sales, you can see here, we've got the 7 days of premium. So, I mean, it's 50% off. It's not a bad deal. If you want some extra premium time on your account, it wouldn't be too bad to buy it. Then we get one of my favourite tier 6 tanks in the game, which is the Excalibur. And this is the tank destroyer. It's an amazing vehicle, but it's probably not for everyone. It's amazing because it gets good camo, it gets a fantastic damage per minute for a tier 6 tank, and that is pretty much it. It gets no armor, it doesn't get a fully traversable turret, but it does get a turret to a degree, so you can go like, I think like 100, there's something ridiculous like 230 degree turret, but it's an interesting one. it's not going to be for everyone, like I say. And it's actually the only tank that I decided I'd go for a 4 mark on, and ended up getting it. So yeah, it was an interesting kind of grind, and a very, very fun tank to play, and probably one of my favourites in the game. But should you buy it? Oh, I don't know. It depends on your playstyle. If you like hidden tanks, if you like tank destroyers and being stealthy and just using DPM, then yes. But if you don't like that, definitely don't buy this tank. Then we've got the flexible operations. You've got the AT-15A and the T-3485M. T-34 is the really, really good version. The AT-15A, it's okay, but it's not super OP or anything like that. Then we've got the Continental Vanguard, so you've got the Barracuda Emil 51 and also the 50TP prototype. Both of these tanks are pretty decent, and you will be able to have good games in them, I can guarantee it. They are very, very good tanks in general. Do I think that they are worth 11,000 gold and like £40 or whatever it is? Debatable, but yeah, it wouldn't be a bad option if you didn't have any premium tanks and you were looking at getting a auto-loading heavy and also just a fairly solid heavy tank. Then we've got the Swedish style, which comes with the Stark STRV-S1 and the Toldi. I would avoid this bundle at all costs. A 40% savings for a tier 8 tank destroyer that's pretty mediocre and basically the same as the tech tree version, and a tier 3 light tank that will probably just add an extra like 600 gold to the bundle, and basically no point anyway in having it because no one wants to play tier 3, to be honest with you. There may be some little like freaks out there who decide to play 170,000 battles in tier 3, but for some reason I myself can't think of anything worse. So yes, other than that, we've got the AMX-13 SS11 TCA, which is to be honest with you, this tank is one of the only Cold War tanks that genuinely makes me want to play Cold War every single time, because it's a missile launching AMX-13 hull with this really, really good tank. It's an autoloader. I mean, it's just so much fun. I really did enjoy playing this vehicle. And of course, if you want to see it, it is on screen right here. It's just, I mean, it even looks sick. This vehicle was so fun. I ammo-racked so many people with it. And of course, you do have the two different guns. You've got the 75mm stock gun, which has the 6-shot autoloader, and then you can swap to the the launcher, which has 660 pen and also 1200 damage per shell, and it gets it gets 4 of them, so you can get nearly 4,800 total damage in this thing. So yeah, it's pretty nice, but it does take a long time between the shells. So you've got a 15-second intraclip reload, and then you've got 38 seconds to wait. So it's not like you can just go around the corner and launch 4 missiles off in rapid succession, but it is a very, very fun one, and I'm definitely thinking about purchasing this one. Now, back to the bundles. We then have the FV214 Conqueror Mark II, and this is a tank that I would avoid if I were you, because this vehicle, although it's good on World War II, is not particularly amazing on Cold War, and that's because the armour just doesn't really work at all. It does get a really, really good gun, but that's about it. And yes, it can go 43 kilometers forward. It was pretty sluggish when I played it. I would avoid it in most cases, and of course it is very expensive as well. 11,000 gold for one tank, costing you like £35 for one singular tank. Yeah, not what I would go for. And then we've got the super savings. So these are the 50% deals, deals in quotation marks. And you get the Lycan T71, which will save you a 50% discount. And I think it should be about like 3,000 gold, somewhere in that region. I'll have to double check a second. You can see here. Yeah, so it cost you 2,100 gold. I mean, for this tank, it's superb. So yes, I would recommend it if you've got 2,000 gold. And often you'll probably have 2,000 gold just from the season pass and the key cards that you've got from it. Then we've got the Slayer SU-152, which is the tier 7 tank destroyer that I absolutely loved because it gets the 250 heat pen and 700 alpha. It's pretty much a dreadnought, but a slightly worse version, to be honest with you. But yeah, I really, really did enjoy it. The camo was pretty nice as well. So overall, a fantastic tank. If you're interested in your high alpha damage derp guns, then yes. Then we've got the HMH AMX M4 MLE 49, which is the tier 8 heavy tank, the premium, which is a pretty solid one. I think it was released for free last year, hence why I've got it on my account, but it is very expensive. So it will cost you 7,400 gold if you want to pick it up, and it probably will come on for free at some point very soon, so I wouldn't go out there and buy this vehicle because it will probably come back in an earn operation this year, so just wait. It will come back, I can guarantee it. This is what Wargaming always do, so just keep an idea of that. And then we've got the available contracts, so you've still got the Cruncher, the Tiger 1 Hammer, that is the kind of earn operation contract, the Tusk and the Chisel, all of which you can pick up. And then we've got the Evolution season coming to an end at the end of this month, or at least the beginning of next month on the 4th of October. So just 1 week left of this season, and we'll be into October already. Boy, has this year gone fast. But looking forward to the new season. We'll get some more information on this new season as the time comes. And of course, hopefully you guys will join me in the next video. And for the final bit of this, we have, of course, got the premium bonus, which is available for the T125, the Badger, and the King Lerva that will end on the 4th of October, and it gives you 50% more vehicle XP and 50% more silver on every battle you play in any of the vehicles above tier 5 in any of these lines. You can see them on screen right now. Hopefully that has given you a good indication as to what's come out this week, the things that you can expect in the next couple of weeks, and of course the new season coming next week. So stay tuned. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, like it if you did, and before we end it up, I do have a World of Tanks PC channel, for those of you that may not know, and I'm going to do a shameless plug. You can see it right here on screen. It's basically just some gameplay showcasing loads of different tanks. We're trying to create some interesting content. We've got some short videos just with little clips that you can have a look at. So yeah, hopefully you check that out. If you're actually interested in it, don't bother if it's not something that you're interested in, if you're not interested in World of Tanks PC. So yeah, it's just there for anyone that is. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you join me in the next video coming soon. Goodbye.